Hey there, welcome to the Healthy Vibes podcast. I'm Kelly Renato, and I thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. Our time is the most precious thing we have, and it means so much that you're sharing yours with me. And I pray that I can give you a quick bit of encouragement or even empower you to have the courage to make a different choice this week. Shift your perspective or shift a choice or habit. And today, to all the moms out there, especially the moms of littles, I just felt on my heart I needed to share what I feel that I learned back in the day. And now that mine are older, I feel like I can look back and be like, wow, that was not as big as I thought, or that was such a good lesson to learn, or gosh, my belief and my gut feeling were right. So much of that when you're parenting littles, because we're new moms, we're navigating a new territory. And these days, there's just too much information, too much pressure, too many opinions, too many, this is what your kid should be doing now, what you should be doing. And I just want you to turn it all off. Turn it off. I pray you have at least one sound voice in your life, maybe your mom, a mother-in-law, a friend, an aunt, someone that's gone before you, an older sister. If not, I pray that this gives you some sort of belief or relief, I should say, maybe, that it's going to be okay. And you can always reach out to me. I'm not a parenting expert, but I do feel like I was in the trenches. I experienced many things and I learned so much from it. And I remember so many fears that I had, and most of them came from stories and scenarios that I would create or make up in my head. None of them came true, but it helped me to know that that was possible, so I wanted to pay attention and be careful, and that's fine. Don't let fears take over, I should say, because they can if you allow it. Fears can totally take over how we parent and end up not parenting or not, making the choices we really do want to make because of fear. And not always just safety fear, but fear of missing out, fear of not doing what we should have done, not helping our kid when we should have, not putting our kid in this or that, or missing this opportunity. I don't want you to parent based on fear. And when mine were little, I felt so many pulls coming from many directions, but most of those pulls did not feel right. They felt unsettling, uneasy, and they didn't feel like that's where I was supposed to be. But of course, I questioned all of it because everyone was doing this or that, or many people were doing this or that, or my good friends were doing this or that, and it's so hard to decipher what you should or shouldn't do, the play dates, the birthday parties, the activities. Should I be focusing more energy on grades, what class they're in, what teacher they have? Is homeschooling normal? Is it not? Is it okay? How should I discipline them? And all the rest of what all the moms and all the people in your life and now social media, the internet, are telling you or making you think you should be doing or you should be focusing on, or you're not spending enough energy, or your kid's not doing this or that. It's exhausting. It was exhausting when I was a parent back in the day, and I know it is now because there's so much more out there. And I heard it all. People gave me their opinions when I didn't ask for it, but opinions, especially when I did something that was maybe not what they were doing, homeschooling, giving my kid a day off of school for mental health, staying home rather than joining whatever was happening somewhere, what church we went to, how often we went, why were we Catholic, why did our kids do this? I got it when I was working, I got it when I wasn't working, I got it when I was opening a business. It just went on and on, blah, blah, blah. It was always something. Everyone has an opinion. And I just want you to know, don't let other people's opinions drive the way you parent. If it's someone that you value, if it's someone that you ask their opinion, if it's someone that you trust, someone that is parenting, or they have values like yours, then hey, I think that is wonderful, and you are blessed, and absolutely take their opinion, value it, and still make sure you're doing what you as a parent want to do. I had great parents, and my in-laws were great. I have lots of good parents around me. And nobody was parenting bad, but we all parent differently. And so when I say do what you feel is best, or your gut or your values or what you think matters most, it doesn't mean someone else is doing it wrong. It just means it's different. And your path is your path. And what you value and what matters most to you in that moment and that time, it matters and it's important, and you have to listen to that. It doesn't mean, again, that you're doing it wrong, they're doing it wrong. It's different, and different is okay. I just think too many of us get consumed with what we're doing, and if someone else is doing it different, why are they doing that? Or it must be wrong, and that's not the case. It's just different, and that's what makes the world go around. So my biggest thing to you is to sit down, and this is what I did when my kids were little, and I wrote my values down. I wrote what mattered most to me. I wrote what I wanted to teach my kids, what I wanted them to know, what I thought was most important, and that helped me parent. And I'm totally serious. I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and then I sat with my husband one day and I asked him the same questions. We had some same, some different, and I told him what I was thinking, but I was with them a lot and he was with them too, and it's okay to have, parent in different ways, but it helped me with my decisions in parenting 100%, because I knew what mattered most to me, and when I struggled with decisions, I would pause and I would take time to think about it, think about my values, what mattered, and sometimes it was a really hard decision. But once I made it and I knew it was according to my values, what mattered most right then for me, my family, our health, it felt okay. I might have disappointed someone. I might have gone a different way than everyone else, but I could tell in my heart that it was the right decision. And it's one thing for me to tell you these things when you're deep in the midst of it, because back then when I was deep in the midst of it, I didn't really know if what I was believing was going to work out, or if that really was the best way. I didn't know if I should be trusting myself. But let me tell you something. I'm older now. I'm wiser now. My kids have turned out to be amazing humans. The things that I valued, the things that mattered most, that I wanted to teach them, that I parented them, are in their lives. Like, it worked. It mattered. And it's pretty amazing to me to see, when I look back on it, that the things I wanted them to have in their life, and I know that this can turn out differently. I'm not saying it's 100% every time. I'm not, you might be going, she's crazy. No, my point is, if you have things you value, which you do, write them down, what matters most, because it's too easy to parent against your values without even realizing it. It's too easy, because this is what happens. You go where you're being pressured, you go where you're being asked, you go where everyone else is going, you do this, you do that, and all of a sudden your kids have completely missed what you really wanted them to get. And when it came to my values, everyone's different, but most importantly, I wanted my kids to love Jesus. It wasn't, this might upset someone. It wasn't, you better get to church on Sunday, you better be in this religion. It wasn't any of that. You better memorize Bible verse. It wasn't that. And all of that's important and good. I'm not saying that's bad, but mine was love Jesus. I wanted them to have a relationship with Jesus, love Jesus, and live their life with Jesus first. That was what I wanted. And that's what I thought was most important. I wanted them to know family was important, and all family is important, but I really wanted them to know the family under their roof is most important, because it's really hard when you get older and you love your parents and you love, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, cousins, and all of that's important. But the family under your roof will crumble if you don't put them first, because it's hard. Life is busy. There's work, there's responsibilities, there's kids, there's sanity, peace of mind, all of it. And you have to put your family under your roof first. And I want my kids to know that when they get older and have their own family. I'm there for them, but their family under their roof comes first. So Jesus, family, and health were my three big ones, like Jesus, family, and their health. I wanted them to have healthy habits, healthy practices. I wanted them to be active. I wanted them to know about how to eat pretty healthy. And then I also wanted to teach them like healthy habits for their mind. Things like boundaries and saying no and being themselves and not being pressured to do things they don't feel comfortable with. Things like that. So I started with those three big ones. And then I had lots of other things that were important to me on my list. And it helped me parent, because when it came to, for example, everyone was going to a birthday party, and I just assumed my kid wanted to go. And then I went to ask them, and they were like, I really don't want to go to that birthday party. I don't know a lot of the people, or whatever the reason was. And listen, parenting, different strokes for different folks. You might disagree. But for me, and that's all I'm saying, is parent for you. You don't have to do what I did. I'm just giving you my example. And I wanted them to know that in the future, if they needed to say no to something, they could. It was okay. You didn't have to go just because someone's inviting you. Because back in the day, you got invited to all of them, everyone, not just your close friends, everyone in your class. And I think it's really nice for everyone to be included, but I also think it's really nice to teach your kids. It's great they included you, but I understand you don't know them that well and you don't really want to go. That's okay too. And you think that's silly, maybe. You think, oh, you should go, they're invited. But I just feel like you're setting a precedent. You're teaching your kid that they have to go because they were invited. Now, when it comes to like their really close friend, absolutely. Like, we got to make this work. Like, maybe you had this, but we're going to go to that because it's your really close friend. So it just helps you make decisions. And then we had decisions where they wanted to have a birthday party, and they realized there came a point that too many kids was really hard because they didn't get to spend time with all of them. And rather than feeling like we have to include everyone, when I thought about it, I wanted to teach them that, one friend is super special, 2 friends, 3 friends. You don't have to have 10 friends. It's about the quality of your relationship, not about how many you have. And so I parented that way. When it felt too much to have all that as they grew up, I realized pick a few friends and we'll go do something with them. So it helped in parenting that I had my values, that I had the things I wanted to teach them, because peer pressure was one of them. I wanted to teach them that, saying no, creating boundaries, grace, forgiveness. Like if their friend did something that they weren't happy with, I tried to teach them, yes, I get it. That was not a good choice. That hurt your feelings. So, you have choices here. You can have an honest conversation with them or realize we're all human. They made a, bad mistake. Let's give them grace, forgiveness. But in the future, remember that. Maybe it's a boundary you need to keep. Maybe, you know that maybe they are going to ditch you if something better comes along. Whatever it is you need to teach them. Not only did I parent according to my values, but I parented thinking about the future. Like I would think, how is this going to affect them as a future person, as an older person? And that's where boundaries, saying no, peer pressure, all of those kinds of things came in, because it seemed in the moment not that big a deal. It seemed in the moment I should just push them and make them go. But then when I thought forward about it, I thought, well, I'm telling them that they got to do this just because someone told them to do it. And that's not the value I'm trying to teach them. So think about it that way too. These are the 2 things that helped me make decisions. putting my values and what matter most down, because then I could say no when needed. We could make choices when needed. We could stay home as a family, even if everyone was getting together because our family needed it. And then secondly, I would think about in the future, if this decision was upon them, I want them to practice now for in the future, because it matters. That's how we teach them. Someone said once, you want to have a kind child, teach them kindness and let them practice for 15 years. I thought, such a good way to say it. I think it was John Acuff that said that. Do you want to have a child that's forgiving easily or gives grace easily? Teach them how to do it and let them practice. And you could use that with anything, because that's exactly what childhood is, practicing to determine how to make good choices, how to make choices based on what matters. So think about that when you parenting, and trust your gut. Your gut is pretty instinctive. You're more prepared for this journey than you ever thought. Moms are very wise, and go with your gut. Too often, our gut tells us something and we do something else because we feel pressured or everyone else is doing it. That's not a good reason to do something. Go with your gut. And if your gut tells you no, that you should do something different, or you should stay home, or you need time with your family or your kids. Sometimes I felt that my kids needed time together rather than with friends, because they were different when they were with friends. I wanted my kids to bond. That was another important thing for me. So I would say no to the group things so that my kids could be together. Or I would say no to some things just because I knew my kids needed downtime. I wanted them to learn about rest and downtime. And all of those things that you practice when they're little translate to when they're older. So write your values down. Think about who and what skills you want to teach them for the future. Because too many times, moms say no to everything or say yes to everything, so kids think they have to say yes to everything. Or moms gossip about their friends, so kids gossip about their friends. Or us as moms create more drama around a situation, so kids create more drama. Rather than, don't take it personal. We're all human. They messed up. Let's move on. But sometimes if someone's going to do it over and over and over and over again, then it's okay to talk to your kid too about how important it is to not be treated that way over and over and over and over again. But teach your kids the things you wish you would have learned, the things that you're learning now, the things that you know are important to help them navigate life with more peace of mind, more confidence, more empathy, more compassion for themselves and their family, and just the ability to not feel pressured by the world and to live for a bigger thing. So go with your gut and choose wisely. Sit down, write your values that you want your kids to learn, and then start living and parenting by them. Because kids are going to learn more from what you do than what you say. That's the good and the not so good. And I mean it. They're watching you. So if you want your kids to learn how to be healthy, guess what? You yourself need to make healthy choices. They need to see you doing it. If you want your kids to love Jesus, show them how loving Jesus looks, how loving Jesus looks. If you want your kids to think family's important, show them by making hard decisions to get your family under your roof together. And it doesn't always have to have everyone else. If you want your kids to say no to peer pressure, you got to teach them that. Too many parents pressure their kids to do all the things everyone's doing. So what do? They say yes to everything. If you want them to be themselves, you got to parent that way. Let them be themselves. Don't be embarrassed by them being different, them saying no, them not wanting to go to that party. It's all in how we're parenting. And I think that, it's a lot and it can be hard. But I do think laying out your values and what matters most helps, because then you know why you're making that hard decision, and it helps make that hard decision. I wanted my kids to know that grades didn't define them. Who they were going to be in life did not matter in terms of what their grades are. Yeah, I wanted them to try hard and try to get good grades because that's what school's about. But I knew that who they were becoming was much bigger than those grades, especially in elementary school, for goodness sakes. But I also want you to know that kids will be kids. Don't make too much out of it. Kids will be kids. I think too much. We make so much out of how other kids act. And I guarantee that kid that's being a pain to your kid right now, be honest with your kid. We don't act that way. That wasn't respectful. And you don't have to hang out with him anymore if you don't want to. Let's be honest and support your kid through that. You have to be your kid's person, the person they can come to for anything. They can feel comfortable. They can tell you anything, and they don't have to put up a front with you. But kids will be kids. That kid that's being a pain, he'll grow up and grow out of it, hopefully. Not all of them do, but be the person your kid can talk to. And I do think the older they get, you don't have to tell all the moms what your kids are going through. Parents are good to be helpful and supportive, encouraging, but there comes an age where kids, they want to know that you're their confidant, that they can talk to you and you're not going to tell everyone what's going on with them. And that's okay. If your kid asks you not to post them on social media, don't post them on social media. So whatever exhausting stage you're in, I need you to know this too shall pass. This too shall pass. But just so you know, don't rush it, because another one will be around the corner, and then you'll be dealing with something else. So give yourself grace. Take one day at a time and just do the best you can in this stage and be all in this stage. Kids need love, acceptance, understanding, grace, and a welcoming, relaxing home to live in the most from us. That's really what they need, and that comes by being intentional, being connected, and just being all in when you're with your kids, trying not to be distracted by everything else in the world. I know we have to work and we have responsibilities, but sometimes it's just 5 minutes looking in the eyes of your kids and listening to them. So let's just help teach them the things that we think or you think are important for their future. Teaching them to rest when they need to rest. Parent for the future, whether it's politeness, respect, saying no, boundaries, think about all of that. And don't fall to the pressure of what everyone else is doing or pushing your kids to do the thing that it might not be the thing for them just because everyone's doing it. And for yourself, just make that next best choice. And whatever stage you're in, just make choices to take care of you too. Whether it's going for a walk, doing a workout in your living room, eating a good meal, getting a good night's sleep, spending some time on your own hobby, spending some quiet time in the morning, whatever it is, spend some time for you too. Your kids are going to learn so much by watching you. Living with values, saying no, being honest, taking care of yourself, from the good and the not so good. So just remember they're watching. Believe in yourself. You're enough. You're doing a good job. Whatever phase you're in, it's going to pass. So just hang in there one day at a time and do simple things for yourself as well. So find your values. Parent according to your own values and what matters most. Don't obsess too much. It's not as big as you think. They're going to be okay. And just keep those simple values at the top. There's lots of things we want to teach our kids, but just keep those simple values, and I guarantee it'll help you make the hard decisions. If you need anything, reach out. I'd love to talk further with you. And thank you for listening. Good luck. You're doing a great job. And one day at a time. Take care.